Welcome. I'm Mark Manella.
Stephen Balance.
And this is More Than Money. And today we're going to be addressing something like two things.
Okay.
The biggest mistake most people make that causes them to get in debt, and the number one thing they could do to get out of debt.
That sounds fantastic.
And they're linked. That's what's interesting.
Okay.
They're linked together. So you're going to want to stay with us on this. But before we go there, why don't we review a little bit about what we covered so far from the Debt Slayer Institute.
All right.
You know, we talked about how to begin getting out of debt and staying out of debt. Two parts. So that's
Staying
is the key. First of all, it takes a proper state of mind.
Definitely.
Most people have that. Most people who are listening to this or will continue to listen to this or who go to the Debt Slayer Institute already have the state of mind that they want to do something. And just knowing that they want to do it and they have the desire to do it, that begins the process. But part of the state of mind is also not to confuse the objective with the method. And we talked about that last week, how some people say, well, just dump as much as I can towards the debt, blah, blah, blah. And like most diets and like most plans, that doesn't work.
No.
You have to have a plan that gives you control over your cash flows, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Always maintain the eagle's perspective. Oftentimes people will try to get out of debt and it'll be very micro in the way they do it. They think about debt and that's it, instead of thinking about their whole life, their whole lifestyle, their whole financial landscape. Every aspect of your financial landscape needs to be coordinated to maximize the revenues, reduce the expenses, and get control, as we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Okay. And remember, more than anything else, remember and program your mind to believe this: credit is not your friend. And then institute the 3 key steps. The first one's taming the beast, and of course that's getting control. The beast is debt. To tame the beast, you need the goal. The ultimate outcome of taming the beast is to give you more control over your cash flows. When you sign on the bottom line, whenever you sign a credit card slip or for a loan or something, you're actually giving up your rights to your income, your future incomes. Regaining that is what's so very important. The more control you have over your cash flows, the easier it is to get out of debt. Talk about that a little bit also here. Building a moat around your cash flow. We really didn't talk about this much last week. We just said that you need some liquidity. You need to have a buffer zone in there so you don't keep going back into debt. And then we went into the 2 different aspects of our comparison between 2 different methods. One, put all you can towards your debt, and how that just keeps you going up and down and never really getting out of debt. And then building a financial buffer zone by not putting everything you have towards debt, but using it wisely and coordinating it with everything. And that coordination occurs by developing your own personal wealth creation system. And there's a couple of key words in here: personal wealth creation system. Personal means it needs to be unique, around the uniqueness of your life. If you ever try to one size fits nobody.
No.
One size fits all is a lie. One size fits nobody. A lot of people fail trying to make their life look like the author of the Get Out of Debt book. You know, he says 6% should go here, 3% should go there, 2%. It's got to be built around the uniqueness of your life. What's important to you, who you are, who Christ made you, what is His plan for your life, what are the good works you're to walk in, not what somebody else is walking in. It's important to design this around you. Imagine the difference between trying to get a great job in a one-size-fits-all suit or getting a suit that was custom designed and fitted for you night and day, not only on the comfort but on the impact. So what I'd like to do is take just a moment and talk about building a buffer zone, because we really didn't cover that much last week.
No, and believe it or not, so this is actually my favorite of everything that we've talked about.
Really?
This is one, it's got castles. No, just the idea. When I learned of this, it overhauled my entire mentality of debt.
It's usually, this is one of the keys that's usually missing from most get out of debts. And building a buffer zone, building a moat around your castle. I would tell you, if you're able to do this, this really helps to stop going back into debt. Helps pay down your debt in the long run. But the thing here is, the biggest question or the biggest objection I get to this one is, Mark, I'm over my head. I don't have enough cash flow to pay my bills. That's why I'm coming to talk to you about getting out of debt.
Okay.
So how can I start setting aside money to build a buffer zone?
If you can't even pay your bills.
Exactly. And that's so very important. And that leads us into the uniqueness planning process of the third step, because that's where you can do it. Well, first of all, there's a process of evaluating your debt. And remember the whole idea of Taming the Beast, and the whole idea is repackaging your debt into whatever works best to give you the most control over your cash flows. It might be taking smaller debts and putting them into one big one, or taking a bigger debt, breaking up the smaller ones. But we have a proprietary formula we use to calculate which way in your particular situation and what's available to you would help you to gain the most control of your cash flows. The more cash flows you're able to gain, the more you can start appropriating them to where it needs to go, whether to pay down debt or just start your buffer zone. Okay? And here's one way to think about it. Remember we talked about the eagle's perspective, we talked about your financial landscape. There's actually three parts. There's your current lifestyle, that's the money you spend for your lifestyle today. There's your future lifestyle, that's the money you're putting away so you can have a current lifestyle in the future. And then there's lost lifestyle. That's the money that's being transferred away to other people through interest expense, unnecessary taxes, or whatever. By recovering some of those monies, you actually can either increase your current lifestyle or prepare for a better future lifestyle, or both. And that's how you also begin to build your financial buffer zone. Okay. And quite frankly, most people don't have a financial buffer zone, but they're paying for it just the same. They're just doing it, putting it on a credit card, then getting their tax return back, or trying to pay off the credit. So it goes that way. But what we have up here is showing cash flows, outgoing expenses. And what most people do is they list it all in one column. But what we do at the Debt Slayer Institute is we break it down into two different columns. One is the month-to-month expenses, things like the gas for your car, groceries, rent, cell phone, clothing, things like that. And things that occur commonly monthly, maybe weekly even, but at least every month. The trash, the utilities, all the different things you pay on a monthly basis. Some people pay their auto insurance on a monthly basis. That would go over there. Now, on the other side of the form here, what you see is the occasional household expense. Those are expenses that happen less frequently than monthly.
The surprise expenses for me.
Could be surprise expenses, but they also could be things that aren't a surprise. For example, things like your car's going to need tires every 40 to 60,000 miles. That's not a surprise. No. It just takes you by surprise because you ignore it. But things that happen less frequently than monthly, this could be annual expenses, like maybe subdivision dues, or maybe homeowners insurance, or things like Christmas.
Oh, the things that are
Birthdays.
Eventually coming, you just don't plan.
That you haven't planned for. So what you do is you make a list of those occasional expenses and how much you have in the past spent on them. For example, auto repairs. Everybody has auto repairs. And if you don't, you're going to. So you have to anticipate it. If you're a shrewd person and you have a car that you kept 5 to 10 years, you're going to have $1,000 to $2,000 worth of car repairs a year. Which sounds like a lot, but if you think about it, compared to a car payment, it's nothing.
No.
So anyway, you would list those and those amounts there. And then you total up the amounts on the occasional expense side and divide that total amount by 12.
Okay.
And that'll give you what you should be putting into your buffer zone every month to prepare for those items that are coming up. And when you do that, here's what's exciting. If you're able to do that, then when the car breaks down and you go and have the repair done, and they say, okay, that's going to be $375, you go into your occasional expense account and you get the money out and you pay for it. No credit card, no interest expense, which erodes your current lifestyle and your future lifestyle. Now you've recovered monies again and kept yourself from going back into debt. So that's the importance of a uniqueness planning. Now, guess what? Some people don't spend a lot on Christmas. Some people spend a whole lot.
Yeah.
Some people don't do birthday gifts. Some people do a lot. Some people are younger than others. For example, Stephen, you're at a place where you're probably having a lot of weddings every year from friends and stuff. I don't have a lot of friends having weddings right now. I have a lot of young relatives possibly, but you're going through a phase where you need all these wedding gifts.
Yeah.
So your occasional expenses are going to be much different than mine.
Yeah.
I have stuff I have to take care of that you don't. You have things that you need to take care of that I don't. And the key here is not to say, oh, well, what the book said is that 13.2% should be allocated to a buffer zone.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. You might be somebody who needs 50% of your revenues allocated there because of your lifestyle, or zero if I don't know, very little, zero. But I'm just saying everybody's unique. If you're a missionary, your finances are going to be totally different than if you're a financial planner.
Yeah.
So your whole system should be built around the uniqueness of your life. And what you're seeing up here now is actually just a visual flow of what makes a unique system work. Everybody has income, you pay taxes, and then you have money left over. That's what goes into the wealth management account. From there, it gets put in all different areas. What we help people do is to develop their system specifically around the uniqueness of their life so that they feed their personal checking account with everything needed for the month-to-month expenses, including the fun. Maybe your idea of fun is computer games. Maybe it's going to the movies. Maybe it's magazines, or everybody has a different. But here's the key: if you don't design this around your life, you're not going to stick to it. It doesn't mean your life doesn't need to change. We all know we're imperfect. We are sinners. We're not perfect. But even with those changes, if you try to change to be somebody other than you're not, there's less chance of success. So you need to change to be what God made you to be. We need to transform into who God wants us to be. That's the only way it really works. But it has to be around the unique. God made you unique, so let's make that plan around you. So you create a cash flow management system. You create a financial plan that coordinates all aspects of your life. And then you put it, imagine having a financial butler. Okay. Somebody who paid the bills for you, put money in the right places for you, and did everything you expect. And I say financial butler because a butler works based on what you tell them to do.
Yeah. Not
what they want to do or what some book told them to do. So as you construct your uniqueness plan, you can start putting it on put debt on self-destruct because your financial butler can automatically take care of those things.
Yeah.
It takes off stress, takes off anxiety, and it prepares you for the future for those occasional expenses or unexpected.
And at least what I've often found, especially with this specific formula, usually, not always, can't guarantee it for everyone, there's always something left over that you didn't expect.
Exactly. And what's really neat is, did you ever get a raise and you got a 3% raise or something and automatically goes in your paycheck, and the first month you get it, you don't even feel it. It's like, where did it go? Those artisans, they stole my money. Something happened. Well, that's the kind of things that happen. But when you set up your own wealth management system and you put your debt on self-destruct and you automate as much as possible, you have to make a conscious decision on where that money is going to go, because it won't automatically go in your personal checking account. It goes in the wealth management account so that you can consciously make a decision about it. A couple of points on this, really exciting. You don't get much pleasure, you don't get much excitement, you don't get much joy out of money coming into your checking account that you don't have consciousness about. I mean, if you weren't conscious that somebody gave you a present, you wouldn't enjoy that present.
True.
Well, when you make conscious decisions on your finances, you actually start realizing more joy. So maybe there is a little bit of a raise that happens and you haven't made a decision about it. So over time that money just starts building in your wealth management account. Then one day you say, hey, you know what? We got this money building in here. We haven't allocated anywhere because the system's been working as planned. But now we got an extra $1,000. And you look at your wife and you say, honey, what do we want to do with this? And the spouse, being the smarter of the two, says, well, why don't we take some of that and put it towards our debt that we're trying to pay down? But let's take the rest and go away for a weekend. You know, and do you think you enjoy this more now that you made a conscious decision about it? Well, a wealth management system, the integrity planning system that we use, will help you to get more joy, more peace, get out of debt, and stay out of debt, and do so in a way that honors yourself, honors the vendors, you know, because there are some get out of debt that do ugly things to vendors, which, you know, breaking promises and stuff like that, but also honors God. So let's review here. You need to develop your own personal wealth creation system. That's step 3 of the 3 steps, but and it should be custom designed to fit the uniqueness of your life. It should incorporate flexibility for change. That's something other get out of debt systems never seem to think about, is that what you do today as of 1 minute later is probably a little bit wrong, because life continuously changes. A good get out of debt plan, a good wealth management system has flexibility built in for change. And third, it needs to coordinate your entire financial landscape. What you're doing in your taxes, how you're paying your taxes, what you're doing in your savings or investing, what you're doing in your insurances, what you're doing, all these things coordinate. It's like if you take a rock and you throw it into a pond, it'll cause ripple effects, right? Yeah. Well, if you take 5 or 6 rocks and you throw it in a pond, you'll get 5 or 6 different sets of ripple effects. Some will eradicate others or reduce it because they'll hit up against each other. Others will combine and create larger things. True. So if you can coordinate the ripple effects of your financial decisions in all areas of your finances in a positive way, you can recover more wealth and enjoy more wealth. Pretty neat, huh?
I like it.
And put your debt on self-destruct. Why is this important? Because if you don't, it causes anxiety, frustration, it causes nervousness. You may forget to do something, which will cause more problems, and you got to start over in different areas. But if you put yourself on your debt on self-destruct by creating a wealth management system that we're talking about, then that also gives you the control of changes needed because it's got the flexibility. You can start realizing more of the peace of being out of debt today instead of waiting until it's all done.
Yeah.
So, again, let's review. To get out of debt, stay out of debt. Don't confuse the objective with the method. Maintain the eagle's perspective and institute 3 key steps. Taming the beast, building a moat around your castle, and developing your own personal wealth management system. And so I hope this has been beneficial to you. I know a lot of people say, Mark, you covered so much in 2 15 to 20 minute little videos. I want to know more, or I need help. Well, if you do, of course, you can always email us at contact@mtmministry.com. You can also give us a call, 314-212-1405. We'd be more than happy to help. And because getting out of debt is a personal thing, if somebody needs help with it, do give us a call. But we also are going to do half-day seminar down the road and then an on-demand seminar after that. That will get you in the ballpark. But there is personal coaching that really is needed to make it all work, because most people don't know how to build their own wealth management system, don't know how to calculate, how to recover cash flows, things like that. But I hope this has been beneficial to you. If you think that you might want to attend one of the seminars or the online seminars, send us an email so we can get you on the list, so when they come out, we can do that. And our goal, and of course our desire, is to help you realize the fullness of Christ, even in your finances, so that you can realize that life is
so much more
than money. God bless everyone.